people, especially working women in Abia State. So we should generalize equality of men and it does not take cognizance of they are of they are okay with the way they are complementarity. So the complementarity of men and women in Abia State have helped them to adapt society to continue. They will have to do differently. So the work concluded that the complementarity of the men and women in Abia State that has developed is the analysis of the impact of Benji working women in Abia State from the research and traditions of the people. So there is no need for one need for one culture culture to impose itself on another, because the Benji conference
Because the recording things will lead to a whole lot of discussion. A whole lot of discussion. Go ahead.
Jean, not Benji. 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 It would be very bad if you adhered you see impact of was in which year?
1995.
Mainly, that's the first thing you are looking at. The variable, the G conference, the G conferences. But this one is peculiar. So that date is very important. I saw that at your aim. If you go to your reading the text, you see your aim, put the aim on page 3. Is it 5? 3. Is it 5 or 3? Yes, 4 point. So even in the name work, let me read. It said that the aim of the research is to examine the impact, to examine the impact of the Beijing Conference of 1995 on working women and development of Abia State, Nigeria. Abia State was created in 1991. So that's your focus. But the Beijing is the first variable. So I've just
Conference of 1990.
Okay.
now, so if you when you ask you in between concepts, so you were really concepts. So you were really the design for a program, academic program, a history, And and here politically, a dictionary. Is it better than the way you see it in some other clients or not? Can there be comparison about behaviorism? People were killing twins, people were enslaving people, etc. So it's not very correct to say that it's the basis for which some of these are being done. Now looking at Abia State, they are the same thing as Imo people. That they were shared. He said that when at the background, that's right, that when the state was being shared, that I mean taken away from Imo State, that it was a deliberate act. That's what we said. Am I right? That by the people to make these people not to benefit. And I'm just wondering how right that is. However, the people who were working, Imo State people who were working in Abia State were sort of repatriated after the creation. You know about that? Okay. So I was talking about the aim. So the aim is just like what we have on the topic. Is it that when you look at this Beijing conference, because we see the disparity in global meets, summits as this, where you see developing countries being judged at the same level as those that are set to be developed. So this being that you are saying that it is very true because we have the them 17 goals of the sustainable millennium development goals, them. Fine. And people have come to look at the implementation. Even right now, there was a lady, Joy, not presented master. We have 5 of them applying and the questions we are asked going forward. So I am thinking that if you have to its impact, look at it. The impact. If in history you begin to
Sorry, please, I'm the supervisor, so to guide me. I don't understand. What are we looking at apart from the impact of the
I really had what I said.
I said, I don't understand.
I explained to him that the clarity when in history is not enough, but therefore you need to provide it. So to yes, to have the explanation in history, the analysis which will help to bring the interpretation. So if at this level
Like you already pointed out, you need to rework the
Laura.
you need to rework the abstract. It's kind of too wordy, too many, too much explanation. Abstract is always very technical. So you go straight to the point, your motivation, the aim, the objective.
Sorry to mention abstract. It's not very much. Check that first sentence. All right. That first sentence. After activities, period, do you really believe in that?
Yes, whether a woman is married or not, there's this motherly nature in her. So it mustn't be a natural mother to exhibit mother.
The creation of
Okay, womanist theory is not my invention.
it's not your invention.
Yes, Prof.
Okay. So that is the very opposite of the feminist theory.
Yes, they call it womanist theory of feminism.
Oh, okay. Feminist theory is very interesting.
Yeah, go on, go on.
Number your pages. Signature floor is incorrect. So how do I refer you to any page now? This is
This is subsection.
so check really this one. No, mine is not. Okay, so your aim and objectives, right? You said the aim of the research is to examine the impact of the Beijing conference and blah 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 at their states, Nigeria.
Okay.
You should subtitle it like this. Identify that picture, and then you itemize them. Okay. Which is related to your gap in literature. Once you can identify your gap, you have contribution to knowledge. Literature to knowledge is not titled here. Bullet points. Your contribution to knowledge shouldn't be written the way you wrote it. It should be in bullet points, the way you wrote your objectives of study, Separate each point from the other. And then give us as many as you have. It's two or three, not in this form, the way you wrote it. Okay, let's say. All right, thank you.
Okay, we now move to coordinator.
Most of the things I just itemize have been taken care of, but just take care of the significance of study. You should classify theoretical and practical significance.
Okay, yes.
Put all together. Try to differentiate the theoretical aspect of the significance and the practical aspect of it.
Yes, it's true. Significance of study is usually to in theory and practice, and it should also be
I'm done.
Okay, let's
But there is
let me
another.
just ask you something, a very practical question. It's not very academic. Okay, I could see, do you really believe that there should be no change in the traditional role of women in our society? Are you satisfied with the status quo? You think that everything is okay with the women and, you are a strong advocate of the status
Dress we got from them. Adapt to those things, those we got from them. Adapt to those things, those culture that suit us, that to our society. Because when it means that we will shift from our traditional ways, women taking care of the household. Now, the women I mentioned is not necessarily married, but women, whether married, have this attachment to family, bringing up the younger ones. So when we now want to concentrate on ourselves as women, because I realized from my studies that most of the ills of society is traced back to non nurturing of the children, or improper training of the children. Most of the children now go out of their way. You see children of 12 years, 13 years, 15 years, they've started looking for money to go hawking pure water or one thing or the other than going to school. If you ask, it's not that the school is not open for them or they don't have sponsors, but they want to make money. They want to make raw cash according to their land, to their term. And some of these people we call Yahoo boys, Yahoo this, they are children that should still be in school, either secondary or university. Most of them are not up to 25, but they are already into money because they, and I see it as a gap in the upbringing. So that's why I emphasize the women doing, not necessarily as wives, but mothers. No, men don't nurture as we do. There are so many things the women.
Let's not go into that.
Those feminists, you not said that you don't
It
go into
seems the
feminism.
men have
Then you're going back into it.
There's a role the man has to play.
Even in compound, even in compound, the society.
There is a role the mother has to play too.
Yeah.
It's not just the mothers that train the children. Fathers also have a role to play. That's why it's the mothers and fathers that bring the kids into the world, because they are both responsible for that kid. So when we keep saying mothers should nurture, mothers are living their traditional roles of nurturing children, it makes it look like it's only the duty of the mother to nurture the child. What is the role of the father? The father also has a right or a duty to train the child. Let's stop doing this thing we keep doing. Mothers and mothers and mothers and mothers. What about the fathers? They are just there to look and what do what? It's both mothers and fathers that raise the children,
One thing
nurture
that
children.
people say, they say we concentrate women, but they are taking other material. That's part of the problem.
That is one
We are saying we focus on creating one material, but not creating other material.
Are you getting what problem?
Men are already playing very important role. Chairman, what you should do is to capture those roles. Not that the men are not
This is not
playing,
an
they are
academic
playing.
question anyway.
I want to say something before you conclude.
Yeah.
I think I also observed that she's deviating from
The
the
main-
work, her argument. Her argument is, yes, there should be shift, but the kind of equality that she's talking about, it's not the equality that will generate competition, but the equality that will be tender complementary. I told you before now. So then, of course, the PowerPoint, I didn't see it. I'm just seeing it here. So I didn't do the gaps there. And for the abstract,
And you should emphasize that. Now you see my interpretation. Based on the question I asked.
for the abstract, concerning the abstract, this is a PhD work from department should be going to the faculty. And then there is always a standard say you follow, especially the components of chapter 1. So the first two sentences border on the background to the study, followed by the statement of the problem, where you say, however, there appears. If you look at it, you see the statement of the problem before the end, before the theoretical framework, and then the methodology. Down. So, at the correction that Professor Manen pointed out, which is very clear, and okay.
You know, Ngozi, you have been here with us for years. This is your first one at this level. Going forward, none of us will touch you. And
Yes.
even right now, we all are contributors to that very work they have. If you go to the faculty, you go to university, listen to all. One shot does it all, so you can benefit.
It's all right. Think you give us take it out.
Thank you, Prof.
Yeah. All right.
Please, open that here and take it back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we will now. All right. Go on. Yes, actually, because we start with the event. But not give us
I think she can proceed
yeah,
on the basis of that. I give her a 62.
62. As for advisors, no?
65.
65. HOD 62. Mine is 65. For advisors, no, that so it says, let's add up and say,
Yes, the supervisor cannot score.
okay.
Yeah.
But the previous one, professor scored. That shouldn't have been though.
Yeah.
So it takes 62 plus 65 plus 62 plus 65. 254 divided by 24. I'm wrong with we have 62 plus 65 plus another 62 plus 65 divided by 4. No, okay, 63. 64%. Approximately 64%. So all the third person, a PhD, was anonymous candidate. Where is that of anonymous?
No, you have to speak first.
Okay, we are bringing in it. That's, that's it. It is. No, what's that? Okay, you take the rest one first. And for myself, just step but I think you will go on. In not more than 10 minutes, tell us, introduce yourself and then tell us what your office is about.
The Chairman, Departmental Guidance Board, Professor A.N. Okorobia, Head of Department, distinguished professors and lecturers here present this afternoon. I am a 10 ambassador, a PhD student of the Department of History and Diplomatic Studies. And in the next 10 minutes or thereabouts, I shall be making a presentation on regional integration in West Africa, the role of Nigeria Customs Service from 2006 to 2020. research examines the role of Nigerian Customs Service in regional integration through trade from 2006 to 2020.
No, look at it. What are you doing now?
From 2000 and,
So this stuff alone.
yes,
Yeah.
regional
Yeah,
integration through trade in West Africa. The role of Nigerian Customs Service from 2006 to 2020.
Okay, 2006.
Yes, to 2020. And continue.
it was I'm feeling I was giving 5 minutes.
Yes, yes.
This
It's been taking care of. Let her go on. When she finishes.
Go on, go on, go on.
This research examines the role of Nigeria Customs Service in regional integration through trade in West Africa from 2006 to 2020. This research adopted the political environment field as its analytical framework to explore the role of Nigerian Customs Service in regional integration in West Africa. The political environment believes, otherwise known as the government policy, belief is a fundamental framework that believes that the government policy of the country determines the economic activities and outcome of that country. The methodology used for this research was the primary and the secondary data sources. The primary data sources was obtained through interviews from key stakeholders in the organization, between key interviews from key stakeholders in Nigeria Customs Service and trade organizations. I also employed oral interviews with the traders who are involved in regional trade in Nigeria, in West Africa. These sources provide a comprehensive overview of Nigerian Customs Service activities, the trade patterns, and the regional integration initiative during this selected period. The implementation of various customs reforms and policies facilitated the movement of goods across borders, reduces trade barriers, and promotes economic progression among member states. Then the adoption of modern trade facilitation technologies also help in streamlining customs procedures, resulting in faster and more efficient trade flow. Furthermore, the Nigerian Customs Service also engages in regional integration initiatives such as West African Economic and Monetary Union, West African Customs Union, and Economic Community of West African States Trade Liberalization Scheme. This initiative aims to eliminate tariffs and non-tariff barriers to intra-regional trade, fosters economic integration and cooperation. The Nigeria Customs Service has been instrumental in implementing the rules and regulations of these schemes and ensuring compliance and enhancing trade facilitation within the region. The research concluded with the notion that the Nigerian Customs Service has significantly contributed to regional integration through trade in West Africa. Looking at the background information shows that trade is the source of communication, cultural exchange between West African countries over the years, even before the occupation of the Europeans. Now, African countries have been interacting through key key areas along the key borders. As such, after the occupation of the Europeans, it was necessary for Africans to form a body that can manage the thriving, already existing commercial trade. That was how ECOWAS came about in 1975. The statement of the problem substantial role, including ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme, joint border posts, partnership with West African Customs Union and West African Economic and Monetary still challenge in facilitating trade in West Africa. The aim of this uh, study is to the, the research topics that we looked at was the impact of ECOWAS on trade liberalization scheme of 2006, which influences the modern day uh, activity of Nigerian Customs Service. Then the work also looked at the how Nigeria on the role of Nigerian Customs Service in regional integration. It is also significant to investigate the modes ECOWAS. Practically, the practical to the work with smuggling and transborder trade. The work also assists in the growth and development of West Africa oversight. The scope of the study is research methodology. I've talked about it earlier. We use the primary and the secondary sources. The primary sources was interview with key stakeholders in trade, key stakeholders in regional trade and Nigerian Customs Service.
Summarize.
In summary, the implementation of ECOWAS trade guidelines and the adoption of the revised Kyoto Convention efforts in enforcing customs regulation, harmonizing trade policies, and implementing best practices has contributed to the regional trade, economic development, and poverty reduction, which goes on to show that the Nigerian Customs Service has contributed significantly in regional integration to trade in West Africa.
All right. So,